The government spent $2 billion to launch a satellite, only to discover after the rocket took off that they'd forgotten to install the satellite. After the news broke, even their own citizens were doubled over with laughter. But what they didn't know was that this was all part of a carefully orchestrated conspiracy. While there was no satellite, a rogue ninja had secretly entered space via the rocket. If he could hack into the International Space Station, success would not only give him control over space-based weapons, but also completely expose the ninja organization. When word reached the Ninja Council, the elders faced a life or death decision. They decided to activate orbital laser weapons to eliminate the rogue ninja with high-temperature beams, but the cost would be leveling the entire school. Just then, Union discovered that the lurking rogue ninja leader was actually Yamada, the school beauty who was always picking her nose in class. Now that her cover was blown, there was nothing left to discuss. It was time for battle. Yamada's reflexes were astounding as she gripped the wall firmly with just a few fingers. The high-voltage stun baton that would drop any ordinary person had absolutely no effect on her, but Union firmly believed in one truth. As long as something's alive, it definitely has a weakness. Seeing his attack neutralized, Union realized this was no longer a fight he could win with bare hands. Even more disheartening was that the fierce battle they'd just fought didn't even count as a warm-up for Yamada. At this critical moment, a rumbling sound came from the distance. Union was completely stunned. They'd deployed rocket artillery just to deliver a blade to Yamada. At the crucial moment, Kaika arrived just in time to bring Union a mysterious ring. This was a secret weapon given to him by the school administrator, supposedly incredibly powerful. Yamada was intrigued too. Simply beating up weaklings was getting rather boring. Union turned back to put on the ring, his heart filled with anticipation for a miracle. But after striking his pose and waiting for ages, nothing happened. The atmosphere grew increasingly awkward until finally a buzzing sound came from the distance. A drone slowly approached, carrying a ninja blade. While its entrance wasn't as flashy as the rocket, it was still better than going empty-handed. The final battle began. Union drew his blade and charged, but images of being cut down with a single strike instantly flashed through his mind. This was his precognitive ability warning him. A direct confrontation clearly wasn't going to work, so he decided to use his invisibility charm. But this invisibility charm had a fatal flaw. It could only hide his upper body. In Yamada's eyes, this was no different from not being invisible at all. After a few exchanges, Union was cut down again. Fortunately, this was still just a precognitive vision. Union simulated countless battle scenarios in his mind and finally reached a conclusion. To win, he had only one chance to strike. The final battle ended with both sides perishing together. As Yamada fell, Union was also at his limit. With Kaika's support, the two stumbled toward the exit. Meanwhile, the Ninja Council had made their decision. To preserve the ninja legacy, they would have to sacrifice the school's students. The surroundings began to shake. Union realized the situation was critical. He was well aware of his injuries, and though his time with Kaika had been brief, it had been joyful. He joked once more to lighten the mood, but this time Kaika didn't fall for it, her eyes filled with tears. Protected by the invisibility charm, Kaika ultimately survived in the ruins, but Union remained there forever. The official report explained the incident as a sewer gas explosion. The boy was only a few minutes late for school, yet he lost his head for it. When he opened his eyes again, he discovered his body was somehow walking toward the classroom on its own. In class, the teacher was about to call on a student to answer a question when she noticed something wasn't quite right with the students who had shown up today. Before anyone could react, a student trying to flee had already been cut down with a single slash. In an instant, the entire classroom became a living hell. Students frantically fled toward the school exits, though some remained frozen in place. Meanwhile, the school's PA system crackled to life, instructing students to head to the bomb shelter and wait for rescue. But Suzuki, who had received his mission, was moving in the opposite direction. It turned out this wasn't the first time Suzuki and Harada had crossed paths. To let Suzuki die knowing the truth, Harada removed his mask and deactivated his invisibility. The battle erupted instantly. Suzuki pulled out his electric baton, but Harada's stealth suit had insulation features. As his weapon was knocked away, Suzuki found himself in desperate straits. After all, he was just a rookie low-rank ninja. The skill gap was too obvious. Just as Harada was about to finish off Suzuki, a figure suddenly crashed through the window, temporarily driving Harada back. It was Kato, the mid-rank ninja who had been observing the fight all along. Clearly, this mission had exceeded a low-rank ninja's capabilities. He displayed a completely different fighting style that immediately made Harada realize the difference in their abilities. Knowing he was outmatched, Harada activated his stealth suit and fled, but the experienced Kato quickly slashed his palm and splattered blood on Harada. As the two battled fiercely, Harada's equipment represented the latest technology. Not only could it provide invisibility, but it also had a built-in airbag system for high-altitude ninja operations. Harada wiped off the blood and took off running. His real purpose was to create chaos at the school to buy time for another accomplice. But there were quite a few ninjas lurking in the school. Just as he escaped one mid-rank ninja, another low-rank ninja named Kazadani appeared. But this Kazadani was no ordinary low-rank ninja. Born into a ninja family, he had shown exceptional talent from childhood and was now the youngest mid-rank ninja. Facing Harada's invisibility technique, Kazadani was well prepared. He could pinpoint his opponent's exact location just by listening to the sound of broken glass on the ground. While engaging Harada in combat, the teddy bear he had tossed aside was quietly recording the enemy's positional data. Once the data upload was complete, orbital weapons in outer space would initiate remote precision strikes. But Harada seemed to sense the danger and stuck to his principle of running when outmatched. Though Kazadani was exceptionally gifted, his combat experience clearly needed more refinement. As the trap took effect, Harada seized the opportunity to showcase his weapon advantages. Just as he was about to cut down Kazadani, his momentary carelessness caused him to overlook the danger behind him. Mid-rank Ninja Kato arrived just in time, but Harada had actually already achieved his real objective. Kazadani had always believed the satellite weapon was targeting Harada, but in reality, the rogue ninjas had long ago infiltrated the satellite control system. With the virus implanted, the orbital weapon had locked onto the entire school as its target. In the end, whether students or ninjas, no one escaped death's embrace.